You open your eyes unaware that you are already shaping the world you step into. Every glance, every assumption, each quiet judgment sends a command into the unseen architecture of reality. You've been told outcomes depend on effort, that life bends only when you push hard enough. In the quantum world, effort distorts. In the quantum world, observation alone is the sculptor. Right now, infinite possibilities ripple around you. Some wait at the edge of becoming. Others drift further away, faint echoes of futures that might exist. The quantum field does not respond to force, it responds to the clarity of your gaze. It listens not to frantic demands, but to the quality of your witnessing. Here lies the paradox: the harder you grip, the more noise you send into the field. The softer your presence, the more precise the response. Think of the observer effect in physics. A particle exists as a wave, a cloud of probabilities until measured. Once observed, it collapses into a definite state. Your life mirrors this principle. Fixate on lack and the field contracts into lack. Notice abundance without clutching, and the field leans toward abundance. Yet most people stare through tension. They obsess, chase, compare. Tension muddies the lens, turning what could be beauty into struggle. Close your eyes. Imagine holding a butterfly in your palm. Squeeze too tightly, it shatters. Keep your hand open, and it rests with ease. Observation works the same way. To observe with presence is to hold reality like that butterfly, open, unforced, alive. When you begin to see this, the futility of old patterns becomes clear. You tried to command the universe with affirmations, rituals, even scripted words. Beneath the surface, your nervous system hummed with doubt. The observer effect listens not to syllables, but to vibration. It listens to the truth beneath the mask. You said, "I am abundant," while your body whispered, "I am afraid." The field collapsed in favor of fear. This makes you accountable in a new way. No longer can you pretend thoughts alone are enough. No longer can you hide behind affirmations without resonance. The quantum field is precise, honest, responsive. It mirrors not what you pretend, but what you are. So how do you shift, loosen your grip? Practice the art of witnessing without urgency. When fear rises, notice it instead of fighting. When longing surges, breathe instead of clinging. Create space around your attention. In that space, reality begins to reorganize. Picture a pool of water. Drop in a pebble, ripples expand evenly. Thrash your hands through it, ripples collide, distort, cancel. Your attention is the pebble. Desperation is the thrashing. The smoother the drop, the clearer the ripple. In daily life, this looks simple. Watch thoughts pass instead of attaching. Notice where your body contracts when you think of money, love, or success. Breathe until the contraction softens. That softening is not passive, it is power. It is the calibration of your lens. The cleaner the lens, the purer, the collapse of possibility into form. This explains why the greatest shifts often appear after surrender. How many times have you wanted something, worked for it, worried endlessly, only to receive it once you finally let go? That release was not failure, it was alignment. The quantum field responds not when you tighten, but when you trust. Pay attention. Every outcome you experience reflects the way you observe yourself and your world. Observe lack, and lack crystallizes. Observe wholeness, and wholeness emerges. The eye you cast upon your life is the brush painting the canvas. The truth is liberating, yet terrifying. You are never not creating. Yet grace lives in this. You don't need to force it. You don't need to solve everything. You refine the way you see. Step back into the role of witness. Not the desperate witness trying to fix the scene, but the calm witness who knows seeing itself shapes reality. Feel this when you stop straining. The field breathes with you. It listens more closely. It arranges itself with less resistance. Reality softens into coherence. Life stops resembling a wall to break through, and instead reveals itself as a doorway opening under your gaze. This is the first truth of mastering. The observer effect, clarity emerges from presence, not effort. The less you strain, the more precisely the field responds. It doesn't need your control, it needs your awareness. In that awareness, infinite folds into particular possibility, folds into form, and your world becomes what you dare to see. Energy hums around you. Though most days you barely notice it, you wake, move through routines, scroll past moments, dismiss the silence between. Yet every sound, sensation, and thought vibrates through an unseen lattice, the same lattice that physicists call the quantum field and mystics call the fabric of spirit. You've been told vibration is just a metaphor, yet vibration is physics. Everything you see arises from oscillations, atoms, dancing electrons, spinning photons, pulsing. Now pause. Imagine yourself not as a solid being, but as a symphony of waves. Bones, skin, breath, every part of you is frequency. Your emotions are tones. Joy carries one frequency, grief another. The field listens to your song, whether harmonious or dissonant. You can't hide the melody. This is where the bridge between science and spirit reveals itself. Quantum theory shows us entanglement, two particles linked across distance moving as one. Spiritual awakening shows us union, your essence inseparable from the whole. Both whisper the same truth: you are not alone. Your choices, your inner state ripple across existence. The stranger you've never met, the dream you've not yet lived, both feel the echo of your vibration. Think of a tuning fork. Strike it, place another nearby, and soon the second vibrates. Energy seeks coherence. This is how your subconscious shapes your reality. The beliefs you carry, seen or hidden, strike the fork of your being. The field around you vibrates to match. Hold scarcity in your chest, and opportunities bend away. Hold trust in your bones, and new doors open without struggle. Ancient alchemists knew this, though they spoke in symbols. They called it transmutation, lead into gold, ignorance into wisdom, fear into power. The furnace was never outside. The furnace was the heart. They taught that transformation comes from changing frequency, not forcing matter. What they wrapped in mystery quantum mechanics now wraps in mathematics. Both point to the same conclusion: your inner vibration alters the fabric of reality itself. You've felt this without realizing. Think of times you walked into a room heavy with tension. Words were unnecessary. You knew the atmosphere before anyone spoke. That heaviness was a vibration. Think of moments you laughed with someone until tears fell. The air itself seemed lighter. That ease was frequency too. The quantum field does not only respond to grand rituals, it bends to the quiet hum of your being in every second. Here lies the doorway to manifestation. You've been told manifestation is about wishing, visualizing, repeating affirmations until your throat aches. Yet the field listens beneath words. It listens to vibration. You cannot chant "I am free" while vibrating with fear of failure and expect freedom to crystallize. The dissonance collapses the wave into chaos. Freedom arises when the frequency of freedom hums in your cells. How do you tune yourself? Begin with awareness. Notice the tone of your body right now. Is your breath shallow? Is your chest tight? That is vibration. Every sigh, every surge of adrenaline, every subtle contraction sends a message into the field. Awareness is your first alchemy. Then shift through presence. When fear speaks, don't argue. Breathe deeper. Let the vibration move through rather than lodge inside. Imagine tuning a stringed instrument. At first it wavers off key. A gentle adjustment brings resonance. Your nervous system is no different. Softening breath, releasing shoulders, lifting gaze, all tiny adjustments of vibration that align you closer to coherence. When you hold this state, manifestation stops being a chase. The quantum field mirrors coherence with precision. Opportunities appear without strain. Encounters feel orchestrated. Doors open not through effort, but through resonance. Notice, too, the ego's resistance. Ego thrives on control, always scanning, always doubting. It clings to illusions of certainty, yet its tension distorts the signal. Awakening requires loosening ego's grip. This is not annihilation, it is transcendence. You become more than the voice in your head. You become the presence observing it. And in that presence, the field bends. Quantum entanglement shows us that observation does not merely record reality, it influences it. Your act of seeing is never passive. It shifts what is possible. The moment you align vibration with awareness, the illusion of separation weakens. Ego loses its throne. You reclaim essence. Think again of those ancient alchemists. They spoke of hidden fire, of inner gold, of turning shadow into radiance. What they named in symbols you now live as practice. You are the alchemist, the tuning fork, the observer, the field itself. Vibration is your philosopher's stone. So ask yourself, what song are you broadcasting right now? Does it hum? Scarcity or abundance, tension or trust? The field is listening, always listening. It waits for your coherence, not your striving. The moment you tune, the symphony shifts. Illusion clings to you more tightly than you realize. Every belief, every story about who you are and what you deserve wraps around your perception like veils. You think you are seeing reality, but most of the time you are only seeing the inside of your own conditioning. The ego thrives here. It survives by convincing you that its version of the world is truth. Yet in the quantum field, illusion is fragile. It dissolves the instant you step into the role of the observer. Picture yourself standing before a mirror. At first, you believe the reflection is you. You smile, the image smiles. You frown, it frowns. Ego convinces you the mirror dictates your state. Yet what happens when you realize you are the one moving first? The reflection was never in control. This is the first crack in the illusion. The observer effect in quantum physics tells us something. Radical particles behave differently when observed. Possibility collapses into form. At the instant, attention falls upon it. Translate this into your life, and the implications are staggering. Every time you observe yourself with awareness, every time you choose presence instead of autopilot, you shift the field. You are not a victim of reality. You are its co-author. Ego resists this truth. It whispers that you must control, predict, force outcomes. It clings to certainty, even as that certainty limits you. Transcendence begins when you stop wrestling with ego and instead watch it. You step back, witness its chatter, and in that witnessing, the grip loosens. The observer within you, silent, steady, infinite, takes the throne. From here, reality reorganizes. Ancient mystics taught this with parables. They spoke of the veil of Maya, the grand illusion masking true essence. They urged seekers to pierce the veil, not by destroying it, but by seeing through it. You live this teaching whenever you notice your thoughts without fusing to them. The voice in your head says, "I am not enough." You pause. Instead of fighting the thought, you see it as a ripple in consciousness, nothing more. In that moment of detachment, the illusion breaks. The subconscious plays its role here as well. Beneath the surface, hidden programs run scarcity scripts, fear loops, identity patterns written long ago. They hum their frequencies into the quantum field without your awareness. You wonder why the same struggle repeats, the same relationship fractals return. The same obstacle rises again. It is not coincidence. It is entanglement between your subconscious vibration and the reality reflecting back. Yet even these patterns are illusions once seen. Observation does not only collapse quantum waves, it liberates subconscious chains. When you shine awareness into the hidden script, its hold weakens. Imagine a shadow in a room. In darkness, it feels ominous, yet the moment light touches it, the shadow evaporates. The subconscious is no different. Awareness is illumination, ego dissolves, and essence shines. What is this essence? It is not personality, not title, not the stories you recite. Essence is pure awareness, the still point at the center of your being. It is the part of you that watches thought, sensation, desire without attachment. It does not strive, it does not cling, it simply is. In essence, you are already aligned with the quantum field. The illusion is believing otherwise. Now see how this shifts manifestation. Most people try to manifest from ego-layering desire over fear. They want abundance while vibrating with lack, love while vibrating with loneliness. The field mirrors their confusion. Yet when you transcend ego, when you root in essence, your signal clarifies. The field responds not to want, but to being. You no longer manifest what you chase, you manifest what you embody. Break the illusion and manifestation becomes natural. Think of sunlight. The sun does not struggle to shine. It radiates because shining is its essence. When you live from essence, abundance flows as naturally as light. Ego says you must try harder, control, more, accumulate proof. Essence says radiate, and the field will arrange itself around you. There is power here, but also humility. Essence does not command the universe with arrogance. It harmonizes with it. It sings the song of truth, and the quantum field, bound by coherence, sings back. You discover that life is not something you conquer. It is something you co-create. Pause and imagine this now. Imagine yourself as the observer standing at the center of awareness. Illusions flicker around you like holograms, yet you see through them. Your breath slows, your chest softens. Ego whispers, but you smile, knowing its voice is only noise. The field waits, sensitive to the vibration you hold. You choose coherence. You choose trust. You choose essence. This is not escape from reality. It is reality unveiled. When the illusion breaks, you discover life as it truly is, fluid, responsive, infinite in potential. Every perception shapes it. Every vibration directs it. You stop asking, when will reality change, and begin living the truth. Reality is changing the moment I observe differently. In this space, transformation ceases to be a goal. It becomes a constant unfolding. You step into each moment not as a seeker, but as a creator. You are the observer, the alchemist, the field itself. The illusion is gone. What remains is essence, unshakable, radiant, free. From essence, you begin to practice alchemy, not in a medieval cellar in the furnace of your daily life. Perception becomes the fire. Attention becomes the crucible. Energy, once trapped in ego narratives, melts, separates, clarifies. The old text spoke in symbols: calcination, dissolution, separation, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, coagulation. You translate those stages into breath, witnessing choice, embodied action. The metals are emotions, the ores are beliefs. The hidden gold is your unconditioned presence. Start with calcination, the gentle burn that reveals what refuses to serve. A spike of fear rises, a story flashes: I'm behind, I'll lose, I'm not enough. Instead of wrestling with it, you hold the flame of attention steady. No drama, no suppression. You let the heat of presence reduce the story to ash. Panic doesn't vanish on command. It exhausts itself under a steady gaze. The residue shows you what is real, what is smoke. Dissolution follows. You pour the ash into the waters of awareness. Identity loosens. The sentence, "I am a failure," softens into a thought is appearing. The wave around the thought expands. Labeling it as thought dissolves the spell. The body often responds. First jaw unclenches, breath lengthens, chest opens a few millimeters. These tiny shifts are not trivial. They change frequency, which changes the collapse of possibility. Next comes separation. You sort gold from dross. What is fact? What is interpretation? What is choice? Write it if needed. Fact 1, email with critical feedback. Interpretation: they don't value me. Choice: respond from clarity or from a wound. Separation is mercy. It spares you from acting out a trance. Then conjunction, the marriage of insight with state. You select a single feeling tone, trust, ease, sovereignty, freedom, and breathe it through the body until the nervous system hums in that key. Thought alone rarely stabilizes the shift, state seals it. In alchemical language, sulfur meets mercury fixed, meets volatile spirit meets matter. In your language, the heart meets the mind, then the choice meets the moment. Allow a touch of fermentation. Something larger than effort enters when you give space. Inspiration bubbles. A phrase arrives for the reply that feels both direct and kind. The body registers a yes. This yeast of grace rises when control relaxes. It is the field speaking through you. Distillation refines the signal. Before you act, you reduce the intention to its essence. Communicate truth with respect. Extraneous motives burn off, proving pleasing defending. The message grows simple clean. Coherence amplifies. Finally, coagulation. You take one aligned step, send the email, make the call, choose the boundary, not 10 steps, one step informed by essence. Form crystallizes around the new vibration. This sequence may take minutes, with practice seconds. The world often adjusts quickly when you move in this way. An apology arrives. A door you assumed was closed opens. The conversation shifts from power struggle to shared clarity. Call it luck if you want. The field knows the deeper explanation. Your observation transmuted the pattern, so the entanglement rearranged. Perception is the philosopher's stone you carry everywhere. Most people wield it like a blunt tool, staring through tension, extracting judgments, hardening around conclusions. You learn to wield it like light. The stone doesn't force reality. It reveals it, then refines it. The more skill you gain, the less you need to push. The signal speaks for you. Consider a harder instance, a familiar trigger. Money. A bill arrives larger than expected. The old loop lights up tight. Chest clenched, stomach catastrophic future casting. You enter the laboratory, first calcination, hold the heat of attention until the flare settles. Next dissolution label. The swirl sensation and belly images of failure urge to fix everything. Separation lists 3 columns. Facts, story choice. Facts amount, due date, current resources. Story. This proves I'm unsafe. Choice request and extension create a payment plan open to a new revenue path. Conjunction breathe, a chosen state for 60 seconds steadiness. Feel it in the spine, the tongue, the palms. Fermentation invite a whisper. What is the next honest action? Distillation reduced to a single line you can act on today. Coagulation send the email map a plan. Make the offer that scares you a little yet feels true. You did not bypass reality. You met it with a cleaner lens. The field responds to that cleanliness faster than to frantic work. Resources surface opportunities that were previously invisible, appear a friend, forwards a lead without knowing you needed it. The outer reconfigures in proportion to the refinement within. Now tie this to the observer effect. Your steady gaze removes noise from the wave. A jittery observer collapses outcomes into scattered forms. A coherent observer collapses outcomes into elegant forms. Alchemy trains your perception to become coherent, less projection, more presence. The field favors that signal. Tie it to entanglement as well. Your shift doesn't stay inside your skull. It ripples through relationships, negotiations, timelines. Think of the morning you would usually snap at a loved one. You run the sequence instead. The tone softens. Their nervous system entrains to yours. A different day unfolds for both of you. The web updates instantly. You didn't control them. You refine the node you occupy. Ancient texts hid this behind symbols because the psyche resists plain truth. You are powerful, not power over power through. The power of a lens so clean that reality loves to reveal its best face under your gaze. The ego prefers complications. The stone prefers simplicity. To keep the stone bright, tend 3 practices. First devotion to breath. Slow exhales signal the body that safety is available, which clears perception. Second devotion to truth facts over drama. Present data over old myths. Third devotion to essence. Choose a daily word that sets your frequency. Hold it while you speak, write, move. These devotions form the tripod under your laboratory. What about setbacks those days when the crucible cracks, when anger floods the room, when an old story hijacks the wheel? Even that is material. Alchemists welcome the dark phase of Nigredo, the blackening, since it revealed what must be transformed. You do the same. You name it, you breathe, you return to the sequence. Gold requires heat. Heat requires patience. Notice how alchemy protects your dignity. You stop bargaining with chaos, stop begging for outcomes, stop twisting yourself into knots to be chosen. You choose your state first. From that ground, you choose words, choose actions. The world reads you differently. Respect enters the room before you speak. Invitations arrive that once passed you by. Not magic tricks, coherence signaling through every channel. You might wonder whether this removes spontaneity. It doesn't. It births it. With less static, intuition becomes audible. You hear subtle yes and no with more reliability. You catch the thread of a coincidence, follow it to an opportunity your old map could never predict. The stone doesn't limit, it liberates. All of this prepares you for a quieter revelation. The alchemist and the stone are not separate. The witness that applies the sequence is the same presence that glows at the end of it. You hold the fire, you become the fire. You polish the lens, you become the lens. The line between observer and reality blurs until cooperation replaces struggle. Stand in a doorway now, literal or imagined. Feel the hinge between inside and outside. On one side, familiar habits. On the other, a life shaped by deliberate witnessing. Place a hand on your heart. Breathe once, allow your gaze to soften. You are carrying the philosopher's stone. Touch any moment with it, then watch the metal of circumstance brighten. This is the alchemy of perception and motion dissolve. The lie reclaim, the essence redirect the current. Each day becomes a kiln for clarity. Each breath a bellows. Each choice a new alloy of fate and freedom. You are not escaping life. You are refining it into something worthy of your soul. Now the path turns subtle. You have learned to enter the field to dissolve the noise of ego, to wield perception as the philosopher's stone. Yet the deepest lesson hides here. Manifestation does not happen by commanding outcomes. It unfolds when you align with the truth of what you already are. The observer effect is not a trick to force reality. It is the mirror showing you where you collapse waves into form, through state, not through effort. Sit with this each time you insist, I want the field here's lack. Each time you declare, I am the field receives coherence. You cannot manifest from hunger for what you doubt. You manifest from embodiment of what you trust. This is why the ego loops, why affirmations fall flat, why vision boards collect dust. They project desire on the surface while the subconscious hums contradiction underneath. The field does not listen to surface words, it reads frequency. Your subconscious holds centuries of conditioning, ancestral patterns, cultural scripts. They hum beneath your thoughts like a bass line that never stops. If you try to shout affirmations over that bass line, the song does not change. Transformation begins when you dive into the hidden chamber, when you retune the instruments. Breath is tuning fork. Stillness is amplifier. Self-honesty is conductor. In that chamber, you recognize the illusions you inherited: scarcity as default fear, as safety suffering as virtue. When those illusions crack, the frequency rises on its own. Here lies the bridge between quantum entanglement and spiritual awakening. The moment your state shifts, entangled threads shift with it. A friend texts after months of silence. A stranger opens a door just as you approach. A solution lands that logic alone could not engineer. These are not coincidences. they are entangled reflections. The field rearranges to match your new signal. Consider water. Drop a stone and ripples spread. Drop another stone a few feet away, and the ripples cross, creating interference patterns. Sometimes they cancel, sometimes they amplify. Your subconscious beliefs are stones dropped every second. Your conscious intentions are stones dropped less often, which ripples dominate the pattern, the hidden constant ones. Mastery means noticing which stones you drop without knowing. Each new state you embody is not just one ripple. It is a new rhythm altering the interference pattern of your entire life. Ancient alchemists hinted at this with their principle as above, so below, as within, so without. Quantum physics phrases it differently. The observer participates in reality. The message is identical. Your lens does not just see the world, it shapes it. If you remain trapped in the trance of separation, you create from fracture. If you inhabit essence, you create from wholeness. So the practice becomes simple. Choose essence repeatedly. Not once, not in a ceremony, only not in crisis alone. Daily, breath by breath. The subconscious shifts not through one grand effort, but through constant retuning. Each return to presence plants another seed. Each pause before reaction recodes the program. Each act born of coherence expands the field in your favor. Notice how this changes your sense of time. The ego counts minutes. Essence flows in cycles. Ego says, I need it now. Essence says it is already forming. Ego demands linear progress. Essence trusts spirals. When you stop demanding instant proof, you notice subtle evidence everywhere. You see how small alignments accumulate into visible transformation. The bill that once terrified you is met calmly, and solutions appear. The relationship that once drained you shifts when your energy no longer feeds the old loop. A career step emerges because you held dignity when compromise was easier. Understand this, you are never manifesting alone. You are co-creating with the field, entangled with everything. Your clean signal frees others. Your steady frequency stabilizes rooms. Your willingness to dissolve illusions invites those entangled with you to dissolve theirs. You may think this is for your personal goals, yet the field always weaves wider. Each alignment ripples beyond your eyes, reshaping collective threads. Now, as this journey culminates, let it crystallize into one distilled truth. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you embody. Desire without embodiment is static. Presence with embodiment is magnet. The observer effect is not abstract theory, it is your lived power. The moment you reclaim essence, you change the collapse of possibility. The field has no choice but to mirror coherence. So what now? Begin with a checklist, a practice you can live. 1 torture morning pause. 1 minute of slow exhale, state the word you choose to embody today. 2 midday check. Notice one illusion surfacing, label it, dissolve it, return to essence. 3 evening reflection, write a single coherent choice you made today, however small, and honor it. 4 weekly intentions, select one area of life to refine through the alchemical sequence calcination to coagulation. Track subtle ripples instead of forcing outcomes. Keep this close. Manifestation is not outside of you. It is you in dialogue with the field. Not future you, not perfected. You present you aware enough to choose. I want to leave you with an invitation. In the comments, write one word that captures the state you are ready to embody. Maybe it is clarity, maybe it is trust, maybe it is freedom. Let that word be a declaration, a quantum seed you plant, not just in this space, but in yourself. If this journey stirred something inside, if you felt resonance, a shift, a spark, I invite you to subscribe. Not as routine, but as initiation, joining a movement of minds and hearts, reshaping reality through coherence. When you subscribe, you're stepping into a shared field where observation transforms into creation. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for your gaze, your energy, your presence. You are not just listening, you are participating. This is the power of the observer. Reality bends when you truly see. Leave here with a reminder, etched in your essence. What you embody is what the world must reflect.